Is the Apple campus ever going to happen here in the Raleigh area? Today, we're going to be looking at some major projects around the triangle that seem to be delayed and talk about what we think is going to happen with those projects. So stay tuned.
The first project we're going to talk about is Epic Games. So many of you may not know, but Epic Games, the creator of the popular video game Fortnite, is actually headquartered in Cary, North Carolina, which is pretty cool. So back in 2021, they bought an entire mall, the Cary Town Center Mall, for $95 million, with the plans of developing that as their new headquarters. And it was going to be, the plan was basically for it to be like a mixed use space. They're going to have office space, commercial space. It was going to have a hotel. It was going to be a really neat area. Obviously, it's 2025. Nothing has happened since then. And so that project is delayed. And there's not a lot of reasons as to why it is delayed, at least public reasons for that. But the speculation is obviously in 2021, remote work became popular. People started working from home more often. Office space kind of went on the decline. And so during that time period was obviously not a great time to build a massive office complex. And so that is the speculation as to why it was delayed. Now, what is going to happen with that property in the future? Literally no one knows. The town of Cary doesn't know. In fact, the town of Cary went as far as canceling the permit that Epic Games had submitted a while ago because time just ran out on it. So no one really knows what is going to happen with that space until Epic Games comes out with the plan or a statement basically saying what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what happens with Epic Games and that space. I mean, it's kind of hard to say, like, what do you do with a vacant mall? So like it's kind of bizarre that they would buy such a expensive piece of property and just like let it sit.
And to be clear, they're still headquartered in Cary. They just have not built their new headquarters, which is going the old spot where Cary Town Center Mall was.
Yeah. All right, next on the list is Downtown South. This is a large mixed-use development that was going to be coming kind of on the south side of downtown, kind of close to like the Dix Park area. That was supposed to be a big mixed-use development. You know, it was going to have residential units, office space, a live music venue, maybe a soccer stadium before.
When it was announced, it was supposed to be the place where the MLS was going to house their stadium when they were trying to get the multiple, I was about to say,
yeah, the multiple listings.
The multiple, yeah, we have another MLS in real estate.
Yeah.
And then David Tepper obviously stole the MLS team from us, but whatever.
Maybe one day. Yeah. Anyway, so this development has just kind of been indefinitely on hold. They haven't really broken ground on much out that way. It seems like, securing financing has been like a major contribution to why we don't have that. So there's not really a clear timeline to when this will eventually happen, but I'm really hoping it will because of just that area in general on the south side. It'll be really cool to have something. This is the same developer that did North Hill, so it'd kind of be like another version of that, but on the southern side of Raleigh, which would be convenient for people that live on that side of town. But additionally, Dix Park has gone through such a big renovation with the Gibson Play Plaza. So I feel like this area in general is really changing a lot. And it'll be cool to see that part of Raleigh really transform, especially as the city keeps like rapidly growing. Also having more like residential units that could be walkable in that region and close to downtown would be really cool.
For sure. All right, next on the list is Apple. So back in 2021, probably one of the bigger announcements over the last decade, Apple announced a massive campus coming to the Research Triangle Park here in the Raleigh area that was going to bring about 3,000 jobs, averaging a salary of $187,000. So there's going to be very high paying jobs coming to the area. And it was announced in 2021. And then that was about it since then. And so really nothing much has happened to that. And so where it was going to be located, so most of the Research Triangle Park is in Durham County, but there is a small sliver of the Research Triangle Park that's in Wake County, and this was going to be on that Wake County side. And it was going to be a massive campus, but since then they announced a delay. I believe last year is when they officially announced the delay. And there's no real timetable as to when the project is going to restart. it seems that it is not canceled, but delayed. And Apple is still actively hiring people in our region and bringing people here. We've helped some of those folks move into the area. They just have not broken ground on the campus, but it looks like that's going to be something that we'll see in the near future, just not right now.
Yeah, and it is really interesting because, like Zach said, I think it was one of the biggest pieces of news to come.
Yeah.
You would have thought, like, I don't know. I mean, it was
massive.
Huge, massive news when they were developing or when they purchased the land. And now it's just like sitting there, and they haven't really given a huge reason as to why. So it'll be really interesting to see, are they going to keep that land, maybe sell it?
I think, I mean, there's a theme in a lot of these delays. And like when you look at office space and the struggle to get people back into the office, people working remotely, that's obviously, you don't want to build a large campus when that is the culture of the workplace.
Yeah.
And then when you look at, obviously we talk a lot about interest rates, mortgage rates applying to like residential, but it also interest rates apply to the commercial side. It's much more expensive to build now than it was in 2021 when this was first announced. And so all of that kind of goes into play, I think, into delaying this build.
Yeah, for sure. I delayed with a little So next on the list is the expansion to the American Tobacco Campus over in Durham. If you're familiar with the area, American Tobacco Campus is honestly one of my favorite spots in the Durham area. You've got like the Durham Bulls Athletic Park over there, and then just the shopping district is just a really unique place to be. You got the Mellow Mushroom pizza place over there. We had our first date there by accident.
We did.
Which is really funny. But anyway, just a really cool area. And right across or behind it, when I was growing up, was a Ford car dealership, and that was kind of taken out. I feel like during COVID-ish.
Forever ago, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a really long time when they said there was going to be an expansion to the American Tobacco Campus with like more residential units and office space.
Potentially a movie theater.
Maybe some more retail. It was really exciting news, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. There were some rumors that like Google would move into that area. So I was excited about it because I've always loved that area and kind of wish there was even more to do over there. But, kind of the same thing. Crickets on that, and when it's going to come, probably due to the same things like financing issues, cost of building going up exponentially since maybe when they first slotted this to investors. So hopefully we'll see some more growth to that, because it's a little sad to see the little vacant Ford dealership up there.
It's just a vacant lot now.
This could be really cool, but it's just sitting empty now. So we'll see what happens, and time will tell.
Yeah, and there's very, very little info on this one. Like some of these other projects, it's pretty easy to dig up information on it, but this expansion of the American Tobacco Campus, there's very little info out there. So it'll be really interesting. All right, next on the list is Vinfast. So Vinfast is a Vietnamese electric vehicle manufacturer that selected Chatham County as its location for, I believe, the first manufacturing plant in the United States. Yeah. This plant was supposed to open in 2025. It's obviously 2025 now. That is not going to happen. Now it is expected to open in, I believe, 2028. And the significance of this is how many jobs that they were going to bring to Chatham County. And that is 7,500 jobs into Chatham County, which is just unbelievable. And if you don't know where Chatham County is, that is like, if you're looking on a map, you see Chapel Hill. Just south of Chapel Hill, you see a town, Pittsboro, that's within the Chatham County area. But just a massive job creator that has been delayed in the Chatham County area. Yeah,
and it is interesting because Chatham County in general, if you've watched our videos for long, we did one recently on how it's one of the most booming areas that's projected to grow the most in our region. And it's because of places like this. I mean, you think like 7,500 jobs, and like people bring their families, and like that is it's not only 7,500 people, it's their families, and then they have kids, and then the grandparents want to move down to be closer to the kids. It's just so many things. So it'll be interesting to see how this delay, and it sounds like at least they're one of the only ones that have come out and said we are actually, there's any news about there's like an expectation of when the next. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Maybe they decide, they talk to Disney and they were like, let's time the neighborhood and our opening, together. The Disney neighborhood is not delayed at this point. No, they are moving forward. So that's exciting. That's exciting stuff for Chatham County. But so we have a lot of these things, as Zach mentioned. I think, major just like economic impact since,
Yeah.
you know, people started thinking through these things, you know, maybe at the beginning of COVID or even probably their thoughts on it, I'm sure, were even prior to that. So obviously the landscape and price of everything has changed so much since then. So it is hard to like, you know, continue on with plans for something when the prices have doubled on a lot of the things that they might have done. So, you know, hopefully they can secure those investors and we can continue to see all of these new and cool things come to our area.
Yeah, for sure. We are Zach and Cindy Honeycutt, a couple of real estate agents in the area. So if you are looking to buy or sell, we'd love to be a real estate resource of choice. You can find our contact info below, and you can also find us on Instagram.
We'd love to have you follow along over on Instagram. You can find us at the Honeycutt Realtors. And if you're interested in developments, news of the area, fun things to do around the area, you can also follow our other account, the RDU Buzz. And we look forward to chatting with you over there.
Yep, we'll see y'all next time.